What happened to the FBI? I don't know. We have a great general, four-star general, today, you read it in all the papers, going to potentially serve 5 years in jail for lying to the FBI. One lie. She's lied hundreds of times to the people, to Congress, and to the FBI. He's going to probably go to jail. This is a four-star general. And she gets away with it, and she can run for the presidency of the United States. That's really what you should be talking about, not fiction where somebody wants fame or where they come out of her crooked campaign.
Donald Trump with some harsh accusations toward Hillary Clinton in response to a question about his own behavior on the social scene, for lack of a better term. Welcome back to Newsmax TV's continuing coverage of the final presidential debate of the campaign year 2016. J.D. Hayworth back with you tonight from Newsmax TV's national anchor desk. We will have full post-debate coverage with analysis from those you have come to respect here with their points of view. And there is no one's point of view who we respect more than yours, because after all, you will make the decision on Election Day, and we want to know what you thought of tonight's debate. And so we ask you to call us at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Again, returning to the theme that Donald Trump returned to time and again, that Hillary Clinton has been able to game the system, that Mrs. Clinton has been given special treatment by the FBI and the Department of Justice that others have not been able to receive, and he says that is a disqualification for her to become President of the United States. Now, going into tonight's debate, two key polls indicate that this race was really tied up. Let's take a look at the Rasmussen Reports poll. Trump and Clinton at 42%, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian, at 7%, and Jill Stein at 1%. So what happened tonight, and what change does it make as we move closer to Election Day, which is now less than 3 weeks away? That's why we're so pleased to welcome via Skype from New York City the Lieutenant Governor of the Empire State, Betsy McCaughey. Likewise, joining us via Skype from Northern Virginia, presidential historian and Reagan biographer Craig Shirley. Craig's fourth book on Mr. Reagan is coming to bookstores near you next year. This new volume is entitled Reagan Rising: The Decisive Years. To you both, our thanks. Ladies first, Betsy, what did you see as most decisive in tonight's debate? Who did well? Who came up short?
Well, this was by far Donald Trump's best performance. He was presidential, he was informed, he was articulate, he had specifics on foreign policy, on how to grow the economy. Bravo for explaining to the American people and to Chris Wallace that the best way to handle the debt was to increase growth, not scrimping and saving and depriving people of things, but creating a very robust economy where the revenues will flow in and make that debt look smaller. That was a very, very important answer. And overall, I thought it was by far his best debate.
Craig Shirley, you have penned so much of the history and life of Ronald Reagan. As much as we yearn for a Reagan-esque figure, I think we understand there was only one Ronald Reagan, so those who are looking for Mr. Trump, who's had a lot of success, but to somehow emulate the greatest communicator, those of us who've been involved in politics say, this guy is truly coming from the outside. And so I guess the term would be used, meta-communication. Is his sincerity enough to carry the day over someone who obviously spent the past 5 days sequestered doing nothing but debate prep and resting?
Well, it's a good question, JD. I don't think we'll know the answer to Election Day. I generally agree with Betsy's assessment. I think that so far this has been debate's best performance. Hillary was on the defensive often, and you know when she's cornered because she starts smirking. When he nailed her on abortion and on the campaign, hijinks or the pranks or the dirty tricks at his rally, she started smirking again. In fact, She was smirking a lot tonight, and quite frankly, is that I don't think people like her. I don't think the American people want to vote for her. They're looking for an excuse to vote for somebody else. Trump gave them more of a reason tonight to vote for him than to vote for Hillary. That doesn't mean he's going to win. He's got to stay focused on this message of Washington corruption and her deep involvement of it from now until the election, if he has any chance of winning this election.
But we have a new barometer tonight, courtesy of Craig Shirley, the smirkometer. When Hillary smirks, it means trouble. Let's go from smirking to the Supreme Court, because obviously that was a bone of contention early on. And Chris Wallace, I believe, did a good job highlighting and pointing to contrast by and large tonight. And so he got the candidates engaged early, talking about their notion of a Supreme Court justice, and we heard Donald Trump unequivocally stand in support of the Second Amendment. Let's look and listen.
We need a Supreme Court that, in my opinion, is going to uphold the Second Amendment and all amendments, but the Second Amendment, which is under absolute siege. I believe if my opponent should win this race, which I truly don't think will happen, we will have a Second Amendment which will be a very, very small replica of what it is right now.
Now, as you might expect, Hillary comes back with the progressive litany, talking about economic redistribution and the rights of those who may pursue alternative lifestyles. Let's listen to her, and then we'll come back and get your comments.
I feel strongly that the Supreme Court needs to stand on the side of the American people, not on the side of the powerful corporations and the wealthy. For me, that means that we need a Supreme Court that will stand up on behalf of women's rights, on behalf of the rights of the LGBT community.
All right, so you heard both candidates. I tell you what, Craig and Betsy, let's hear from a caller at 1-877-Newsmax, 1-877-639-7629 to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, for Jay. Jay, I understand you're going to cast your first ballot this November.
Yes, I am. In fact, while watching the debate, I was expecting this to happen because he's a professional politician, and he's not. So he presents a better argument than he does. But underneath that, you can see the intensity of Trump to do good, and you can see the lies of the other candidate.
So it's back to what we call the smirk gives away Hillary. But Jay, you're saying something we've heard from other people, that Donald Trump may not state things in the most eloquent fashion, but you understand what he's trying to say. Is that a fair assessment of what
Perfect.
you're telling us? Yep.
Right on the nose. Perfect.
Well, excellent. And are you a new citizen in our country, sir?
Yes, I just became a citizen 9 months ago.
Well, congratulations to you, sir. We thank you for your call. And Betsy, as we listen to Jay, it brings up another point that we'll get to perhaps later in a whole discussion about immigration. Donald Trump was talking about people like Jay, who played by the rules, who Hillary Clinton wants to somehow push asunder to let people who came here illegally grant access to citizenship.
Congratulations, Jay, because he seems to already understand what's going on here. Hillary Clinton would mean 4 more years of the profiteering, the cronyism, the Washington corruption, and the utter disdain for the American people, average working class people. The fact is, since 2007, Americans are earning less now than they did then, but the Clintons have accumulated $100 million in wealth just by speaking fees. How do you think they did that?
Well, we think it's something called connections and being part of the elite, the very elite that Hillary castigates. Craig Shirley, again, give us some historical perspective. You heard Jay, a new citizen, saying that it's Trump's sincerity rather than his eloquence that carries the day with him.
Well, I think he's already welcome, first of all, to America. We want to have legal immigrations. We enjoy, we savor it. But he's also becoming an American in that his BS detector on Hillary seems to be quite fine-tuned already. and his detector on Trump, although not eloquent, is sincere in what he says. Also seems to be fine-tuned. So he's joined American culture. So congratulations.
So we have had two rhetorical instruments introduced by Craig Shirley tonight. One we were used to, the BS detector, but I think
And the
tonight's
smirk detector.
That's right, and the smirkometer, the smirk detector, the great genuine smiles of Betsy McCaughey and Craig Shirley. Folks, we thank you very much. Now listen, we're going to get more of your calls at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. And when we come back, a couple of additional voices in addition to yours, Maggie Howell and our good friend Dick Morris. They're slated up next as we continue our special coverage.